Hey guys, it's Tina, and welcome to the Qweendom. So guys, today I'm coming at you with some way different content. I'm gonna do a story time. I know it's, I think, a couple of story times on my channel, but this is a bit of a different one. So I'm gonna tell you guys about the time when my boyfriend cheated on me and he got caught, y'all. So let's go. Okay, so once I got an idea that he was cheating on me, just like I said, I confronted him with it. He said that he wasn't, so you know, I let that marinate a bit. So it seemed like more and more he was not necessarily distant, but he was not as accessible to me as he had previously been. So I guess I'll give you a little background real quick. So back when I was younger, in the late 80s and 90s, we did three-way, which three-way is still a little common now, I guess, I'll assume. We did three-way calls where, you know, I'm talking to, let's say, me and my sister on the line, and I want to call my best friend. So I'll call my best friend. She automatically gets added to the call. All three of us are having a conversation, so on and so forth. So we also had this thing called call intercept. I don't know if a lot of people remember this, but call intercept was when you would dial the operator, which a lot of people don't even know what the operator is now. They think it's customer service. But you would dial the operator and say, I want to intercept this call. So again, an example, me and my sister on the line talking, having a conversation, and my mom calls the operator and says, I want to intersect this specific call, and gives either my phone number or my sister's phone number. And what will happen is the operator will automatically connect that person, but they'll automatically connect that person into the call. So it's sort of kind of like they're breaking through the line and adding this person to the call. I don't remember whether the operator would announce, you have a I'm about to say text intercept, I hope not. You have an intercept call from this particular person, and I can't really remember whether it did that. But what happened was, me and my boyfriend at the time were having a conversation, and he put me on hold, and instead of me hanging up like I normally would have after 30 seconds to a minute, I actually stayed on the line. The crazy thing that happened was I automatically got added to that call. So I'm on the line listening to him and another young lady have a conversation. I'm quiet as a church mouse, got the phone on mute and everything, just listening. And I hear them just talking back and forth, her talking about, you know, why haven't you been calling me? I've been looking for you, and, you know, you haven't come to see me. And like, listen, y'all know how my blood was boiling listening to this conversation. So of course I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till he says hold on, for whatever the reason may be, so that I can break in and, you know, see what's going on. So of course he finally said hold on, and I took the phone off and I'm like, hello, and shit. Of course it's like, oh my gosh, hello, who is this? And I'm like, hey, I'm Tina. And of course I'm like, yeah, Tony and I have been together for a couple of months. And she's like, oh, he told me something about you, but he just said that you were a girl in his cousin's neighborhood that liked him. I'm like, really? So of course she goes on to say that him and her had been together for a little while. She is from Virginia, like he's from. So yeah, that was interesting. So we're basically just going back and forth, no kind of animosity, no issue, going back and forth, comparing notes about the lies he's been telling the both of us. So I'm like, all right, we gotta wait, we gotta, you know, figure out a plan prior to him coming back on the line. So of course I said, you continue your conversation like y'all have been, and I'll break in and, you know, say something. So of course, lo and behold, he comes back to the line. So okay, so just like I said, he comes back on the line, they have a conversation, and I basically like break in, and I'm like, oh, so you don't know me now? And he like, what? Oh, like, who is this? And I'm like, this Tina, you know exactly who I am. Like, you can't lie about nothing, because when you told her to hold on, yeah, we had a quick conversation. He like, yo, like, you know, what's he questioning me, which is crazy. Like, yo, like, what's going on? And I'm like, you remember you and I were talking, you put me on hold. In some kind of way, I got added into the line. Like, I held on for however long, then I got added into your conversation, just unknowingly. So he like, yeah, he really didn't know what to say. He was speechless. And of course, she was grilling him at the same time that I was grilling him. And his little heart, his little mind, soul couldn't handle it. So ultimately what happened was, after I said what I had to say and she said what she had to say, I hung up on him. And it's so crazy because when her and I were having a quick conversation, she was like, she had just found out she was pregnant, which was so crazy. I'm like, oh, wow. Insane. So ultimately what happened, he and I broke it off. He moved back to Virginia after the summer break was over. I went to college, continued my life. January or February of the following year, he called me just to tell me like happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, I'm real, you know, like, okay, thanks for calling me. Like, what you calling me for ultimately? He was just telling me that he was doing a lot better, and, you know, like, I had gotten to know him and his family a little bit, especially since I told you I knew his cousins. So, you know, he was just giving me like a rundown of how his family was doing, how was his son, I think he had a son, can't remember, son or daughter, how him and the family and his kid was doing and all of that kind of stuff. And, you know, it wasn't any animosity. I had forgiven him at this point. And I had continued my life. He had continued his life. So, you know, I was like, well, that's good. And he in Virginia, he had a whole lot of dogs there. So, he was telling me about his dogs and how he was breeding them and how they had puppies. And he was selling the puppies and all this kind of stuff. So, I'm like, you know, I'm happy for you. And it was so interesting because I didn't have any animosity towards him. I forgave him. It was good. So interesting how the situation ended. Literally like a month and a half later, I got a call from my neighbor. He was like, yo, you heard what happened? I'm like, what are you talking about? He like, yo, my cousin got killed in Virginia. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? He was like, he got shot, which is quite common in Maryland and Virginia. Like, anyway. So he was like, yeah, my cousin got shot. Like, he's gone. And I'm not devastated, but like, eyes wide open, just like in a state of shock to a certain degree. And, you know, he was like, had you talked to him? And I was like, it's so crazy because he called me about a month and a half ago. Like, basically just giving me an update about him and apologizing for the things that he had done to me when we were together and all of this kind of stuff. And my takeaway to that is, it's so interesting how God works, how in a lot of situations when things occur and, you know, your heart might not be resolved, or it might be, how a lot of times that person is given the opportunity to not make amends or wipe the slate clean, but to seek forgiveness for somebody, and then some kind of tragedy occurs. Like, I can tell you guys so many situations that not have happened in my life specifically, but have happened with other people that I know, that they were given a chance to reconcile any kind of issue that him and I, or her and I, might have had prior to them suddenly like passing away. It's so crazy. That's the end of the story time. As usual, guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you guys want me to do more story times. I know I told y'all a whole lot of my business here, and if you guys can read between the lines, you know, me saying that he was like my first boyfriend and like hadn't really kissed guys, you can see where I'm going here. But make sure you guys let me know if you like my story time, so that I can maybe do a couple more telling my business. And let me know how you guys handled infidelity in your relationship, if it's ever occurred, whether it happened when you were younger, older, anything like that. And my disclaimer is, this that I'm talking about right now has nothing to do with either one of the gentlemen that I have children with. Just like I said, this guy's name is Tony, and that's not no alias. That was his actual name. See you guys in the next one.